Hey you! Happy Tom Ford Tuesday, where Tuesdays I dedicate to Tom Ford beauty. So last Tom Ford Tuesday, it was soft, it was pretty, it was practical, it was literally everyday makeup, and I didn't even use foundation. I was really thinking about our time. I was really thinking about time and place kind of thing. But today it's going to be a little bit more dramatique. We're going to have time for all of the things, and we're going to do a little bit of eye color quad mix and match. Pretty much what that means is I am here to inspire you to shop your Tom Ford stash, to pull out and remember to use and love the things we already have. And it pretty much just means we're dabbling into two different eye color quads from Tom Ford. In particular today, Make Mirage and Double Indemnity. Oh, these color stories get me every time. But we've got a wet dry formula, and we have one that I like to classify as the more traditional. Oh, they pair so beautifully together. I cannot wait to create this look for you today. So it's Tom Ford Tuesday. You know the full face is going to be Tom Ford. Let's hydrate and begin. So I went shopping in the stash. I went looking through my eye color quads, and I wanted to create a more dramatic look. Yes, of course. But I also wanted to kind of stick to somewhat of a basic color story, as crazy as that sounds. I just feel like the level of creativity is endless. I love colorful looks. I love creating colorful looks that are wearable. Hint, hint, that's what's coming next Tom Ford Tuesday. Make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out. But I kind of just was drawn to a more basic color story. And I know sometimes when you hear the word a basic color story, you're like, whatever. But in all honesty, a more basic color story is something that you'll definitely get more use out of. It's something that when you're not as comfortable with color, you'll feel a little bit safer, and then you can slowly dabble on out. But again, next Tom Ford Tuesday, we're going to be doing a wearable, colorful look that I want to inspire those of you that aren't that comfortable with color to kind of feel a little more comfortable with color, because color can be wearable for the everyday. Yes, I'm ready to show you. But again, I digress. Let's focus in on today. So let me go ahead and prime my lids. And to prime the lids, we are going in with the Emotionproof Eye Base. Still love this stuff. Personally, still think it's one of the best. It adds, just a little bit of color. It allows your shadows to adhere. It gives a little bit more vibrancy to, certain colors, because there is a little bit of a tint to it. But it's not so much of a tint that it's too much. It's just enough. And you can bring it up all the way up to your brow bone and use that as your brow bone highlight. I have been using an eyebrow and lash serum for the past couple of months. So that is why my eyebrows are never tweezed. So I have yapped your ear off enough. Let's get to this, shall we? So a little swatch refresher of the two eye color quads that we're going to be dabbling in today. The more traditional Tom Ford formula and the wet dry beautiful Double Indemnity. Look at that sparkle. Tom Ford number 13, the palette is Make Mirage. I am going in with this lighter of the two. I packed that on my brush, and I am just going to run that through the crease. Very sloppily, not perfect in any way. This is just the beginning of the transition. This shade, it doesn't do a lot. And that's intentional, because the next shade that I go in with is where it's going to start to kind of build up on the color per se. This is just, I like to call it laying the foundation for what's next. Same number 13 brush from Tom Ford, going into the darker of the two. And this is where I start to build up on this look. I'm really focusing on the outer portion of the crease and slowly blending and bringing it inward. And I'm somewhat in the center of my brush. I don't want too much pressure, which allows a lot of pigment to be deposited, and I don't want not enough pressure where it's super soft and diffused, because if you hold it further, it's less pressure, lighter diffused. hold it closer, more pressure, more pigment. It's kind of in the middle. It's a comfortable spot right there. So I am just blending, and I haven't gone back in. Don't feel I need to. We get a little bit closer. I am just continuing to blend, and again, I'm keeping it on the outer portion of my crease. And I feel it is, you know, enough and good. I'm gonna just blend inward. So just looking forward, checking out my work, seeing where I'm at, and I think I'm good where I am so far. So I am cleaning off that same number 13 on a microfiber towel, and I am gonna go back into that first shade that we used. I'm gonna softly blend the edges on the darkest shade that we just applied. So for now, I think we're going to put Make Mirage down. Let's hop over to Double Indemnity. This is a Tom Ford number 12 brush. We're going to go into that greeny, silvery shade. And that I'm packing on the most inner portion of my eye. Just taking my time and building it up. So what I like to do is put that down first, and then we're gonna go over top wet. I really like this shade to pop, to really be somewhat of the star of the show. I've got my Tom Ford Hyaluronic Energizing Spray, and what I like to do is pick up my shadow first, and then I spray the brush. Now, not to have any harshness, I am going to angle the brush on more of the flat portion and kind of blend it forward a little bit unevenly. So a little more staggered in a way. So there's no harshness when I go over with the next color that we're going to be using. And what we do on one side, we do on the other. So I picked up product, and then I'm going to spray just a little because the brush is still a little bit damp. So we don't want to overdo it, but we do want to do it. And then of course we do a little face forward, eyes open check, make sure our placement is where we want it to be. Yes. So I am just going to pack that all over this brush. Look at the beautifulness. Look at the beautifulness. Oh, that sparkle and shine. So I am going to spray my brush, and we're going to pack that on the rest of the lid. Oh, yes. And that what's nice about this brush is because, I mean, I'm not being overly precise, but I don't want to get too messy with this particular color. So I like that I can somewhat control it with the shape and kind of angle on the outer portion of the eye, you know, all those little detailed things. But for now, we're just packing, we're packing, we're packing. Don't worry, where the two colors meet, we will be blending, but hang tight and you'll see what we do. Trust the process. I know it's crazy looking right now, but we're gonna get there. Okay, here is where we are. We have a little bit of fallout, but that's to be expected. I mean, the amount of sparkle in this, but it's really not that bad. And that's also why I did my eyes before my base makeup. Just cleaning off that number 12 brush the best I can because whew. But now here comes the fun part. Back into Double Indemnity and the number 11 brush. I'm picking up this bronzy shade, which looks like this gorgeousness. That will be our little transition color between the black and the greeny silver shade. I am just patting between the two. And I'm just slowly patting so that I can create a nice soft gradient so there's no harshness. Because we went from a very light shade to a very dark shade. Trust the process. Now you can no longer see where that harshness of the black and then the harshness of that gray green are because we used that bronzy shade to just softly diffuse that blend on the eye. And it was very easy. It was mostly just like a patting motion that I used. Now I am just flipping that same brush around and I am going to go back into this shade here and just kind of touch up a little bit. All right. Okay, we're gonna do a little mixing. I'm gonna do one little tap into the black, tap it, and then go into the darker brown that we used. And that combo, tap, that's the combo I'm gonna lightly use to soften this dark black shade with the sparkles, but we're gonna use a very light hand and softly blend it. And just take your time until it softens any harshness that you don't want in your look. See, it's softening up that sharpness because if you look, it's super sharp and I'm softening it over here. And I'm not going to go too far either. And just take your time. So see, it's still got that effect, but we're softening up the edge. Now see, you can just see this eye. If we had left it, that's fine. That's a look too. But I kind of wanted to blow it out a little bit. Went back in with my little combo. One dip in the black, couple dips in the darker brown. And continue to blend and diffuse my edges. It'll come even more together when I do the lower lash line, but you get the gist of it. So there's a little bit of fallout. That's from the darkest shade with the sparkle, that beauty. But the great thing is throughout the night, they don't scatter. And also, I did blend a shade with sparkle in it. So I do have a little bit of fallout because of that. So I'm going to clean that off and we're going to work on the base. All right, let's put this hair out of the way because I want to spray my face and refresh everything. And I'm using my Hyaluronic Energizing Mist. This is amazing. Let's energize, let's refresh, let's wake this face up. All I did was my morning skincare routine, so we're good to go. Now that Tom Ford is no longer owned by the man himself, the legend, Tom Ford, I am curious what the new owners Estee Lauder are going to do. If they're going to give us some skincare, if they're going to give us some loose powder. I mean, you know. This change is either going to be really good and amazing, because I mean, technically they did own so much of the company already, but this change is either going to be super, super amazing or it'll cheapen the brand. And I don't know. I'm trying not to think like that, but a lot of things have crossed my mind. So we'll have to see. Anywho, I'm going in with the Traceless Soft Matte Primer. I'm just applying that all over. I do still sometimes mix my primers. The illuminating primer, I'll put that more on my regular areas for a little more luminosity and just focus the matte on my T-zone. But this matte primer, it's actually quite hydrating and comfortable. And I wear it on days when I don't wear any foundation, like we saw in our previous Tom Ford Tuesday. Going in with my shade and Illuminate concealer. I'm really focusing this on my darkest areas first, you know, and then I will go in with my foundation. I'm just gonna blend that with my sponge. Usual kind of stuff. And I am doing this a little heavier, but this concealer wears beautifully. It doesn't look heavy, but I am doing it a little heavier and I'm doing it before the foundation. So it'll all come together really, really nicely. Again, this is a trust the process kind of thing, you know? I think I've already said this, but if I didn't, I feel like I need to say it again. I am very, very hopeful, okay, that we get like a Shade and Illuminate primer. Oh, I want more Shade and Illuminate stuff because the foundation and concealer are so good. Oh, goodness. So good. I really, really like it. And I'm so tempted to try some of the Tom Ford skincare. It's not new, but I've always wanted to try it. But like, I'm just having a really good time with my current skincare. Like, it's really been working really well for me. Like, really well. Again, I went in a lot heavier handed with my concealer this time. And it's nice to see, and it's nice to share with you how versatile this concealer is. But honestly, a lot of concealers do that too. Like your more full coverage concealers, you can sheer them out. Like I have shared that you are always in control of your product's coverage. Use different tools, use less, use more, use your finger, use different techniques. And you can achieve pretty much any amount of coverage you would like. So see, the same concealer that I used previous Tom Ford Tuesday, all on its own, I used a lot less. And I was able to use it alone. And then now we're using it a little more. And we're really bringing on the coverage and the brightness. So for today's foundation, I'm going in with my Traceless foundation stick. I love this foundation. So good. And again, I'm always going to say I don't personally recommend striping it on your face. Go in with your brush. This one is the foundation brush, the number 2. Pick it up. Direct. You can even spray your brush or, you know, spray your face to kind of add a little hydration and then stipple it on. Oh yeah. So I'll stipple it and then I'll lightly buff it. And see, my skin is still going to look like skin, but I'm going to have some nice coverage. I have a little friend memorabilia here. So I'm going to pick up just like a little extra for that area. Bam. Bye-bye. And then nicely stipple it. Let me get rid of any remembrance of that because no, not today, not ever. So I am super close. I can't hide anything. Here is how skin's looking. And again, we're a little more coverage today, a little bit more. But again, it doesn't need to look like that. So unfortunately, Tom Ford doesn't have like a setting powder. I mean, there is one, but we're not going to talk about it. So I'm just going to go in with my usual, my Westman Atelier Vital Skin Press Powder in the shade, there we go, Pink Bubble. Use that to set my under eye. And do not be alarmed or afraid of this pink shade. It can be used all over the face. The key is light layers. I tell you this all the time because it is the truth, my darlings. Yes, it is. Face look flat. Let's bring a little life to it. I'm going in with my Shade and Illuminate Contour Duo. I am kind of sort of going back to the older one because of the color. This is Intensity 2 in the older one, which is looking like Intensity 1 in the newer one, which I'm probably going to pick up. But I'm going in with this one because this one is a better color for me. It's the other Intensity 2 and the new one is just so dark. Oh my gosh. Still love it, still use it as we did last video, but you know, just gonna use this one today. I wish I could blend that pimple away. Wouldn't that be lovely? So as I blend some shape back to my face, I hope you've been enjoying today's video and are feeling inspired to create something a little bit more dramatic. Yes. And yes, of course, I'm going in with my Shade and Illuminate, the highlighting portion. Going up there, gonna highlight with that. Ooh. I know, I'm extra. I'm a lot. I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. If you love me, you love me. If you don't, you don't. It's okay. A little bit of a blush cocktail because, you know, I figured we're doing a mix and match, a blend with our eyeshadows. Why not do it with a blush too? So I am going to go in with 2 of my Shade and Illuminate blushes. We're going to go in with a little bit of Aflame and we're going to go in with a little bit of Cherry Blaze. Try to hold them for you. A little bit of this and a little bit of this. A little bit of that and a little bit of that. Literally just mixing everybody together. So we got a lot going on the eyes. We're not trying to go too crazy with the blush. We just want a soft little flush. Same number 14. It's just a pencil brush from Tom Ford. And let's go into the darker brown. I'm keeping it like nice on that little tip. This I'm bringing all the way on my lower lash. And now we go into the black just a little bit. Just a little bit. See, just a little bit right on the tip. Don't get too much on your brush. And this, I'm really going to focus on the outer portion and then connect. Okay? Okay, I need a black in my waterline. I don't have a Tom Ford black. I only have a brown. But I want that intensity to stay. So we're stepping out. Sigh. I'm going to go in with my Old Faithful from Chantecaille. It's getting kind of small. This is an eye Kajal. That right there, that is what does, personally, my humble opinion, that's what really pulls the look together when you really smudge your eyeliner. Like, yeah, the shadows are great, but there's just something about smudging your eyeliner. Like, yes, yes, and yes. Now we gotta do a little something in the inner corner. Yes, and the one shade that we haven't used from Double Indemnity is this lightest one here, which looks like this. Which looks like this. Love it. I cleaned it off, I promise. It's the number 12 again. So we're going in with this lightest shade, and I'm kind of just focusing it on the tip portion. I know that this look really is a look that would look killer with some lashes, but I just haven't been wearing false lashes. I just have been feeling good about my natural lashes. So, yeah. These eyes, these eyes. Let's do a little something on the lips. Yes. So do not be alarmed. Just sharpen it, clean it when you're done. But I am going to use my Emotionproof eyeliner to line my lips. It's in a really pretty brown shade, and I'm needing that for the look today. So instead of using a non-Tom Ford product, I'm just going to use this one. Blending it with my finger. Lip Color Satin Matte in Rose de Melfi. And then I'm going in with the Gloss Luxe, because yes, we have to. One of the best glosses ever. I'm sorry, hands down. Here is our finished look. Yes, we went nice and dramatique for the eyes, but I feel that the complexion balances quite well. Not too much with the blush, but the skin is nice and glowy and looking pretty good. And I really like this lip combo. You can definitely achieve this with some things I know you have in your stash, in your beautiful collection. And a quite unexpected little touch and something for fun. Let me know how you feel about it. It's a little sparkle on the outer portion, rather than the traditional where we like to think it's on the center or the beginning portion. We did a little different because, you know, we're rebels around here. We like to do things our own little different way. Happy Tom Ford Tuesday, everyone. I am looking forward to next Tom Ford Tuesday, where I will share with you a wearable, and shall I dare I say, almost everyday wearable type of colorful look. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and give today's video a thumbs up. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And again, happy Tom Ford Tuesday. Stay beautiful, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.